Welcome to 10:02, the happy edition, because tonight's show was much better than last night's show, and I thoroughly apologize for my poor attitude on last night's program. Why are you laughing? And who's calling on the BlackBerry? We're actually taping this right now.
I know, but my job never ends.
This is my producer, Mackay.
Very busy all the time.
If you don't know him, he's the new star of the program. Guy who doesn't really, host the show. But it's all good.
Should host the show.
Should host
no,
the show.
Sorry,
That's very cute.
Freudian slip.
All right. Well, you do whatever you got to do. We're going to take it. This is unprecedented for the show. We're actually going to take you inside what the interview tonight. We had Cabby on the Street from the guy Cabby from Cabby on the Street. How's my job in television going? He was in studio tonight from The Score talking about his interview with Kobe Bryant, and he came in. So what we did tonight was we had the interview filmed. So you're going to see a little portion of that. As you can see, wore my Lakers jersey. Don't get to wear this out of the house much, which my wife is probably happy about. But we'll come back. We're going to send you to the interview with Cabby on the Street, and then we'll come back. Mackay and I will tell you exactly what's coming up on the show tomorrow night. So check this out. This is Cabby and me just a few minutes ago here on News Talk 1010 CFRB, News Talk 610 CKTV, and now on 10:02. In the car or at you're listening to Ryan Doyle Show. News Talk 610 CKTV in Niagara and News Talk 1010 CFRB in Toronto. My guest tonight, Cabby from Cabby on the Street. Is that what we still call it? You still call it Cabby on the Street?
Yeah, we still call it Cabby on the Street, yeah.
Now, that thing's on all the time now. Talking about, you used to have it on the Score just in those early morning hours. You're on everywhere.
It's grown a little bit, which has been cool. Dude, it used to be like it was literally Sundays at 11:55 p.m.
Yeah.
And then it moved to like Fridays at like 10:55, and now it's on Wednesdays at 10 o'clock. On the Score, and it's part of like the Score.
And it's now like a full extended.
Well,
you get more than just 30 seconds.
Right. It's like I get like a little 5 minutes.
Yeah.
4 to 5 minutes, and we also have a show called Cabby Unlimited, which is like 30 minutes where
it's the full package.
Right. It's like some previous stuff, and then there's a bunch of stuff we shoot that we can't use just because you got to cut it out. So then later we'll just like go back into these old tapes, and then we're like, we should. Myself and my man D were like, we should do a little segment on this or whatever. And then we package it into the show, Cabby Unlimited. So that's on Tuesdays. It does get a lot of play, which is cool. It's cool, as everybody who, does sports stuff wants to do all the time.
Are you noticing that there's some other stations that are starting to kind of emulate the bit? Have you seen that? There's sort of copycats coming out.
I'm too self-absorbed.
All right, that's all right.
No, I'm playing. I haven't noticed it as much, but, I don't know. We just get caught up in just trying to just do the funniest or the best or the most entertaining stuff. So I don't really watch that much of the other stations.
All right, let's talk about the big Kobe Bryant thing. Because you've got this massive exclusive interview tomorrow night, Wednesday night, on The Score.
Yes, sir.
What time's it on at?
11:30 p.m. It's kind of late. We have the Duke North Carolina game, which would be an awesome college basketball game.
Which you won't be watching because you'll be listening to my show.
That's correct.
And then...
Well, I'll listen to it online, but I'll have it on my monitor above my desk.
I probably will have it on in here too. I'm not gonna lie, if my crew lets me. But then we've got this massive interview with Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Let's go back in time if we can,
no
and
problem.
Tell me how this all started.
It was December 2005.
Mm-hmm.
The Leafs had just played a game the night before. And I think it went to overtime. And in Toronto, as you know, the media is crazy about the hockey team.
Sure.
So that day, the next day, when LA was in town, there was like our crew and I think one writer. There's nobody there, to talk to Kobe Bryant. And if not even Kobe Bryant, Phil Jackson. He'll always give you a good quote.
Yeah.
So I walked up to Kobe and I was doing a piece on bandwagon fans. I was like, hey, what do you think of bandwagon fans? And can you physically draw what the bandwagon looks like? Kobe's like, I can't draw, and all this kind of stuff. But at the end, I was like, hey, listen, I'm going to be in L.A. I'm coming with my crew, and, I have money for a taxi. But I was wondering if, for 1 or 2 nights, we can stay at the guest house. And he's like, you want to stay at Casa de Brian? I was like, yeah. He's like, no problem. I'm like, cool. So the next time I saw him, I was like, hey, I didn't get your address. What's your address? I want to Google map it, make sure I get there. And then he gave me, he told me his address was 8 Out of Your Mind Avenue. And then the next time, so every time I saw him, again, it would always be a continuation. I was like, what's your phone number? And I was like, I tried. And he was like, 1-800, never ever call me ever. And then he gave me another one, 1-800, just don't call me. So it's continued for years. So since December 2005, I think I've interviewed him like 12 times. And Kobe wasn't really known. He's not really known as a funny guy or really with like a ton of like outward personality.
Sure.
But in these segments, I sort of play a particular kind of role, and he does. And when I get made fun of, I like that. When I get dissed, it's funnier to me. So he kind of fits in role, and then people get to see a part of his personality that nobody really sees.
Now, between all of these segments, all these times in these meetings, do you talk to him? Have you ever? Is there any real contact at all?
No, there's just like I'll just say what's up, but I'll never tell him what I'm at again.
That was my man, Cabby. Can I call him my man? I guess we can, because he calls everybody else my man. He can call me my man, but I'm not going to hold that against him. Mackay, what's coming up? My man Mackay. I'll call you my man M. I'm not going to do that.
No, never.
We'll never do that again.
A couple things on tomorrow's show. First of all, if your grandfather dies and has a couple $100,000 worth of debt at casinos, who is to pick up the tab on that?
The casinos. Next question.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Also,
what happened there?
Well, it's actually being passed on to his grandkids. His grandkids are the ones having to pick up the tab.
I like that.
$715,000 owing to the Hard Rock Cafe and Casino in
Grandpa was a serious gambling dude.
Yeah, not a very good gambler, but a serious gambler, nonetheless. Also, tomorrow on the show from St. Catharines, the school board there has pushed to get all unhealthy food out of school cafeterias. That has been successful, and just as that policy comes into effect, a chip wagon pulls up in front of Dennis Morris High School in St. Catharines, and now that school is looking to implement a policy that states that chip wagons and the like cannot be parked within a certain radius of schools. I think that's a great idea. But the chip wagon folks obviously don't think so.
I love chip wagons, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And maybe we'll have some poutine, because it sounds like a dirty word, and I like saying it. All still to come tomorrow night on the Ryan Doyle Show, News Talk 1010 CFRB, News Talk 610 CKTB. Thanks for joining us. Another edition of 10:02.